Hi, hello friends. Welcome to Design Meetup powered by IxDF Kerala and co-sponsored by Experion Technologies. Today, we will explore the world of gamification in UX design. We are going to understand the basics and learn how to implement gamification in your designs. Discover the benefits and see how it enhances product designs with real-life examples. We have got real life examples like Duolingo, where learning a language feels more like a game. So, buckle up for a quick journey into the gamified side of UX design. Our speaker, Vishnuprasad, is a UX designer. He believes gamification in user experience makes tasks more engaging. Adding games like element, points, and rewards to tasks makes them more fun and interesting, motivating users to engage and participate. It encourages users to reach goals by giving them a feeling of accomplishment and progress, making their experience with the product and service more enjoyable. Finally, Vishnu Prasad will be talking to us about the topic gamification in UX design. For those who are just joining us, welcome to Gamification in UX Design. Over to you, Vishnu Prasad.
Thank you, Mega, for the wonderful introduction.
Thank you,
Good
Vishnu.
afternoon to all. Now we'll be moving on to the presentation. Here are the topics like we will be covering in this presentation. It will be beginning with the introduction of gamification, and moving on, we will explore its benefits, key elements, and challenges. And we will also be discussing on the gamification through the Octalysis framework, which is based on the human behavior and like how we can include these code drives like in our design process. So what is gamification? So before getting into gamification, so we will discuss something else. So all of us have played games or like video games in our real life, right? So all the primary goal of these game is to entertain us. So like while playing games, like we will be the heroes and like we do unreal and like heroic things. So when we overcome those challenges and these levels, like we feel something empowered or like accomplished. So like why do we feel that, or like why do we keep coming back to these games? So while playing games, like our brain releases a dopamine, so as a part of the challenge in the game or like the achievement we earn from that. So now coming to gamification. So gamification is a concept which came from the gaming industry, so which is focused mainly on the human behavior. So to put simply that like that is, gamification is all about adding the game elements into a non-gaming context. So it is used to enhance the user engagement and to motivate and participate the users. So one of the familiar example to the most of us will be like Google Pay. So during one of the Diwali season, like they introduced the Diwali stamps. So it was a game, and like we had all the fun and we made the payments like collecting the stamps and getting the reward for that. So this gamified approach has increased the usage of the Google Pay during this festive season. So now we will see what are the benefits of the gamification in UX. So gamification like has the power to unlock the value for both users and as well as the business. So one of the primary goal or the benefit of the gamification is to encourage or like boost the engagement of the users. So consider the example of the Google Pay. So we already had discussed. So by turning the activity of like making payment as a part of the game, like users are like more engaged and like motivated to participate. So one of the other benefits of gamification is like it evokes motivation. So like by transforming our mundane or daily task into an exciting challenges. So one of the main example we can say is like Duolingo. So it is a language learning app. So where the users earn points and rewards like for completing all lessons or each chapters. So these desires like earn these rewards serves as a powerful motivator. So making the language learning process more enjoyable and effective. So one of the other benefits of gamification is like it encourages like the friendly competition and socialization. So you all will be familiar with the application like Fitbit. So like this app uses like the leaderboards and badges like to motivate the users. So like they stay active and like they engage in a healthier competition. One of the other benefit of gamification is like it is for skill development. So one of the simple example like we all might be using as designers is like LinkedIn. So where like users can like showcase their skills, receive endorsements like from different connections, and like they can like validate their professional expertise. So those features like endorsement and skill assessments are like will be is a part of the gamification. So in gamification, the other benefit is like it enables like data collection and like analysis. For example, while implementing the gamification, like we will be able to understand the metrics, like how many users are there, or like which part of the application or which feature is having like more users or like more engagement. Like then we can get the data, so we can use that to improvise the application in the application, so wherever it is required. So now let's explore what are the game elements that makes the gamification like more powerful in user experience. So like game elements are the techniques that is used in gamification to hook the users. So like some of these examples are like you all might be familiar, that is like achievement badges or stickers or social sharing or like point systems in the applications or like personal challenges in the applications. So all these are the examples of these game elements. So these game elements aren't just some features. So they connect our motivation like by making our like everyday task more exciting and engaging. So like but like the thing is like just adding a badge or a progress bar like or a leaderboard so doesn't make a good gamification. So for that we need to understand the core drive of the like human beings. So what motivates them. So to implement these gamification, like we must know our users and like what motivates them. So for that, like we are going to explore the game framework called Octalysis. So it was developed by Yukai Cho. So he is a gamification expert and a behavioral design consultant. So this framework is completely focused on human behavior and motivations. So this include like 8 core drives represented by the 8 sides of the octagon, as you can see in the diagram. So now we will look into like each core drive with an example of the existing application to understand like how users are motivated. So the first core drive, that is the epic meaning and calling. So this drive give humans a feel that they are doing something greater than themselves or like they were chosen to do something. So like in some point of our like we all might have got this feeling that we are chosen to do something or like we are doing something greater than ourselves. For example, like donating for charity or like contributing for like a heart operation or something or like helping a person who has met in an accident as a humanity. So we volunteer for these things because of this drive. So here in the example like Duolingo, so they have used the code drive by framing like language learning is a historic like a heroic journey. So and they also appreciate for the perfect lesson without making any mistake. So now we'll be moving on to the next code drive, that is development and accomplishment. So it is the internal drive of like making progress, like developing skills, and eventually we will be overcoming these challenges. So here challenge is important because like for instance, just imagine that like you are like earning a badge or receiving a point whenever you opens an application. So but in a longer run, like this rewards or system does not or it's not going to keep you motivated. So instead think that like you are achieving something. So when you are doing something challenging or like something like more like there is a difficult task in that. So in this process, like you are mastering a skill and also you are making progress. And in this progress, you will also be receiving a badge. So then we'll be having a like feel that like we have accomplished something. So in our daily life, like most of us will be using smart bands or like smart watches, right? So when we complete a 10,000 step, like it will show a celebration pop up or a message showing that like you have accomplished something today. So all these messages like gives a sense of progression to the users. So this is most commonly used code drive in most of the application to hook the users. So moving on to the third code drive. So that is like empowerment of creativity and feedback. So this drive is expressed when users are engaged in a creative process. So where they repeatedly figure out new things and they try different combinations. So people always need to express their creativity and need to see like what are the results, and also they love to like get the feedback and also respond to that. So this is why like playing Legos or like making an art or painting is like more fun to us. So like if we are able to properly design a game mechanics with this code drive and let the users to be creative, there is nothing else like we need to add on or to keep changing the content to make it more engaging. So like our brain will by defaultly like entertain itself. So like Instagram is an excellent application. So here the users have extensive control like over their content creation. Like for example, like taking photos or like taking videos and applying filters and like editing features. So this allows users to express themselves uniquely and creatively. So like features like likes, comments, or like shares. So these things provides a immediate feedback for their creativity. So now we will be moving on to the next code drive, that is ownership and possession. So this is the code drive, which means users are motivated because like when they feel like they want something, they always like to make it better. So like we humans always have a curiosity, like if we want something, we always want to make it better or to acquire more. So in real life example, the simple example will be wealth. So we all will be earning from our like job, but like so the but the like people like us like will be investing in the share markets or like in the fixed deposit with a mindset that to make that wealth better. So in the application scenario, so for example, like if a person spends most of the time like customizing their profile picture, or like they like they feel or like the profile they feel like they are showing more ownership towards it. So here in the example on the right side, it's of a famous coffee brand, that is Starbucks. So here Starbucks uses this ownership and possession like by like offering the users rewards and discounts for like frequent visit. So when they like so that the user feel that they own these rewards and they are motivated to collect more. So moving on to the next code, right? That is social influence and relatedness. So here the drives all includes about the social stuff that motivates the people, like having mentors or like being accepted socially or like getting a feedback or like having a friends or even like a friendly competition. So in our life, like when we see a friend like who is amazing at a skill or he owns something extraordinary, so you have a like you feel you have a sense to become the or like to reach the same level like that person. So that is because of this code drive in the humans. So in the example in the right side, you can see Nike Run Club. So they have introduced leaderboards. So where the users can compare their performance with the others. So this fosters a sense of competition and like encourage the users to strive more and like to improve and like outperform the others. So moving on to our code drive, that is scarcity and impatience. So this is the drive of like wanting something because like you can't have it. So the simple example we might all be familiar is with the like timely deals. So in the e-commerce applications, by offering limited time discounts or like exclusive deals, so this creates a sense of urgency and like motivates the users to make the purchases before this opportunity expires. So our next drive is unpredictability and curiosity. So this drive is all about like wanting to find out like what is going to happen next. So for example, like while watching movies or like thriller series or even like reading the thriller novel, so there will all be a sense of curiosity or eagerness to know like what happens next, right? So this feeling is caused because of this drive in humans. So here in the example, you can see the cred or Amazon, like there is the spin the wheel. So which creates a curiosity, like what will be the outcome of that spin. So other example we can say will be like Google Pay. So the scratch and card. So only when we scratch the card, we will be knowing like what is the offer inside it. So now we'll be moving on to like last code drive, that is loss and avoidance. So this code drive is based on the feeling that like avoidance of something negative will be happening. So we will look into the example in Duolingo. So here, so imagine that you have planned learning a lesson every day. So if you continuously learn a chapter for 30 days, you will getting a extra reward. So which can be used like inside the app to unlock a different chapter. So but like you are going, so everything is going in a good manner, so you are learning a chapter every day. But if you skip a lesson on the 27th day, so you could be losing the all the hard earned points till that time. So these points becomes not just the reward for your achievements, but it is like a motivator to avoid like breaking your continuous streak. So it is a clever way of keeping you engaged and like committed. So far we have discussed all about the 8 core drives of Octalysis framework. So now we will discuss like how Octalysis is split into different sections. So it is to analyze the motivation from a broader perspective. So you can see the same octagon. So it is split vertically. So it is split vertically to form left brain core drives and like right brain core drives. So here the left brain core drive and like right brain core drive has named it because it is not because like they are physically located in the left side or the right side of your brain. It is because that the left core drives are related to the logical brain and the right core drives are related to the emotional brain. So the left brain core drives are called the extrinsic motivators because like they are motivated for a purpose or a reward. In the other case, right brain core drives are called the intrinsic motivators. So here they do something because they love to do that. So while implementing the game elements in the application, so it is important to keep a balance between the emotional and the logical uses. And also it depends upon the product or the context we are going to implement it. So similarly, like the octagon is split horizontally to form like white hat gamification and also black hat gamification. So here the white hat gamification or like the top core drives are considered as the positive motivators, while the bottom core is considered as the negative motivators. So the techniques that are utilized or the utilize bottom core drives are called the black hat gamification. So here white hat gamification like empowers users to encourage the creativity or like fostering a sense of ownership or leverage the social influence. So all these elements of surprise is in a positive manner. Whereas in black hat gamification, so it is all about the manipulative tactics. So that is associated with the negative core drives. So for example, like if you see scarcity and avoidance, so they use is false urgency or like to play the fear of loss. So it is to employ tricks to drive users to achieve a behavior. So here considering the black hat gamification as negative doesn't means that like it is bad. It is also required in some cases to motivate the users. So we must see, so all this like implementation of these techniques should depend on our the context or like the research data we will get from our like for the from the research data against a project or a context. So now we will see like how we can create an Octalis tool with an example. So for that, like I'll be navigating to the link. So this is like an already existing tool which is developed by Yukaicho. So here in the top left corner, you can see the navigation or like the point system, like where you can set the points out of 10 against each core drives. So this will be depending on our research data. So, and in the bottom of the left side, here you will be able to get a summary of like what is the output or like what or where all we can improve in our application based on the gamification. So it will show a just summary based on this Octalis diagram. So, and these boxes are where you can input the like our research insights or like ideation. All these can be put in this boxes. So now, right now it is the view mode. So if we click on the edit mode, we can make changes here and also to the topic. So now moving on to the example, I have already created a dummy example. So where we can see how this Octalysis diagram is generated. So let's assume that we have conducted a survey of 100 high school students to design a hypothetical educational application. So for this, we might have conducted like the like user research or like we have conducted surveys, all these things. And based on that, we have got this data. So for example, look at the data against the accomplishment core. So development and accomplishment. So here 85% of the students out of 100 have told that with the level and badges in the application prototype, they are spending more than 30% than the normal usage. So now we can like change these like quantitative data into the score points out of 10 against that behavior code drive. So if you see, so I have put 9 against the development and accomplishment based on the research data. So when we make all these changes, the vertices of these graph might change. So now based on the research data, this is like current Octalysis diagram for us. So here the code drives that comes under the white hat gamification are strong. That is, so definitely, so for example, if you see in the top position of the Octalysis or the octagon, so that is accomplishment, epic meaning or empowerment. So here you can see a rise or boom in this white hat gamification area. So definitely why, so we should consider these code drives while implementing or planning the game elements in the application. So based on the data, like we don't have much data for the black hat gamification, that is the scarcity, avoidance, and unpredictability. So if we are able to bring some of the game elements based on this black hat gamification, that will be a great adding point to the application. So now if we check when we split the octagons vertically, so here there is a right balance in the left core and right core core drives. So which is good for the application. So likewise, while creating the octagon, like or the octalysis diagram, we will be able to analyze our entire application and we can see what is motivated or what motivates the users to do a task. So like based on this, we can design the game elements throughout the applications on different features. So coming back to our slides. So now we will see how we include these code drives of Octalysis into a UX design for truly engaging the user experience. So Octalysis needs to be planned in each stage of the UX design so that like we can leverage all these 8 core human drives and identified by the Octalysis. So these drives are the key to make the user experience more captive and compelling. So these are the methods or the stages where the Octalysis framework can be included in the UX design process, like research and understanding, ideation and concept development, design and prototyping, user testing and feedback, implementation and launch, post-launch analysis and iteration. So all these steps Octalysis plays a important part. So now we will see in each stage how it is helping. So in the initial stage of the design project, like while preparing the questionnaire or like conducting the user research, so we should consider this Octalysis framework as a foundation. So for like while conducting the user research or like if you are going for a survey or questionnaire, we should design the questions in such a way that we should be able to understand the core drives of the users and like what motivates them. So like once we have our user research data, then we can understand like which code drive motivates the users, and then we can consider all these code drives while planning the game elements. So once we have our research insights and the brief ready, we will be moving on to the next step, that is creating the concepts. So during the brainstorming session, so Octalysis framework can be used to guide for generating the ideas that is related to different motivational drivers. So once we have our concept ready, like we can use the Octalysis diagram to make sure that whatever we are planning aligns perfectly with the what motivates the users. So this is also the stage where we plan the game elements and other features. So we need to choose relevant game elements that match our user motivations. So for example, if the develop in the like core element development and accomplishment, so there if there is a high boom in the Octalysis diagram, then we can bring progress tracking or like achievement badges as our design tools to engage the user. Similarly for like scarcity and impatience code drive, so we can use the limited time offers which we use for like Amazon or like any e-commerce applications. So now we have our design and features ready. So now we can create a Octalysis diagram mapping each feature against the corresponding core drive. So like these game elements consider like how they influence the user engagement and like and the motivations. So we need to keep improving based on the feedback that we get from the user feedback. So moving on to the next, that is after like designing the pages based on Octalysis, in the user testing phase, we will be finding out the usability issues and the collect the user preferences. So we can also take the help of the Octalysis diagram to evaluate like how well the product is engaging the users. So based on the identified motivational drives. So by analyzing both user feedback and Octalysis diagram, we can identify the strength and the areas that need to be improvised. So Octalysis provides a structured approach to measure the impact of gamified elements on the user motivations. So it helps in iterative process of like improving the product. So in the final stages before launching our product, Octalysis can be used to ensure that like all the design aligns with our user motivation and the engagement goals. So the use of these core drives aren't just limited to design phase. So apart from everything that we have discussed till now, Octalysis helps to onboard users in a way that it aligns their motivations and like market our product effectively. So like after the product launch, we can use the measurable standards like number of active users or the completion rates or the time spent on the platform to evaluate the impact of the gamification of user engagement. So here, Octalysis can be used in identify which motivational drives can be effectively used to engage users and which one should not be used. So it will be very effective. So using these insights from the framework, we should keep improving the gamification strategy. So now let's discuss the challenges in crafting gamified experience. So like finding the right balance between the fun factor and the tone of subject matter is very important while designing the gamified UX. So one of the three main challenges while we face while implementing gamification is like gamification only works like when it is intentional. So gamification works best when rewards have a real meaning. So for example, like getting a badge for regular exercise is meaningful because like it shows our commitment towards the fitness. So other challenge is like gamification should be voluntary. So users shouldn't feel that like they are being controlled. So therefore, like we should not push them to do a specific like task, or like we should not push them to a specific experience. And one of the other challenge is like gamification shouldn't be a requirement. So if the user isn't willing to accomplish the task, or like finds it difficult to do it from their perspective, then gamification can be very annoying and irritating. So, so what we have discussed so far is just an introduction to the octalysis, that is just to the level one, so which focuses on the human motivations. So there are more levels to explore in octalysis. So also we need to keep in mind that there are areas like we can improve, and there are many more frameworks that can be used in design gamification. So octalysis is just one of them. So now we will recap like what we have discussed in all through the webinar. So the primary rule for like successful gamification is to know your users. So conduct user research, or like creating user journey maps, or like developing user personas, and like analyzing the competitors. All these things can help in constructing an effective gamification. So we need to integrate the right mechanics and elements and utilize the octalysis framework, and that can guide the implementation process. So always we need to keep in mind that there should be an equal balance between the fun elements and the user's primary objective in the application. So the iterative process of testing and gathering feedback and like making necessary adjustments is the key to refine and optimize the gamification approach. So, and we must like always keep in mind that gamification is an ongoing process. So we might need to change it based on the user's interest. So after some time it might be getting boring. So we must also keep in mind, and like we might need to change like at all the times, like whenever the change is required. So following these steps, like you are not just gamifying the product, but you are also crafting an experience that connects with their audience and with a meaningful action. So this is a resource which I have focused to like present the entire webinar, that is like actionable gamification. So this is a book by Yukaicho, so which focuses on the like there are gamification like beyond the points, badges, and leaderboards. And also if you refer the octalysis like website and blogs, you will get more idea about gamification. And also you can read like different types of gamification frameworks to know what are the different methods that can be used to implement the gamification.
So thank you to all the volunteers of the IXDF team that worked behind the scenes to make this event happen. Please write to us and let us know how you found the session. We are available on social medias like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Clubhouse at IXDF Kerala. You can also write to us ixdfkerala@hotmail.com. We have an IXDF Kerala Community Interaction Design Foundation website. Hope to see you on next session as we come to you with another webinar. Until that, stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you. Thank you, Vishnu.